Good evening to all the viewers who are watching live and will be watching on the recorded version. This is me, Orko Mukherjee, with you all. And again, we're sorry to say that we didn't start the auto participation certificate right now. We are trying our level best. We are fighting for that, and we are just giving out, and we are just trying to just do something brand new with that also, just to get the updated one. So please be patient. It will be coming up soon, and you all will be happy to have that. So today we have something different. So without wasting any more time, let's just jump into 30 seconds countdown time.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, sir.
Good evening to all of you.
And today, 24th of August, the one will say that this is the birthday of Kolkata. So on a grand day, on the birthday of Kolkata, we are starting our 123rd episode of online CME sessions being organized by Alumni Association. It has been a tremendous teamwork to go ahead with this task. But before that, I like to thank everybody, all the viewers, the speakers, the moderators, the administration of NH since last 5 years, who had been helping us through and thoroughly to run the show online. And moreover, I personally like to thank everybody who had been praying for my recovery post surgery. So I am fine and in one piece after the accident on last Monday. I thank everybody, all my seniors had blessed, all my juniors had prayed, all my batchmates, my peers had really showered their love in all the aspects. It had been a few tortuous days in between from Monday to Friday, and today is Sunday. I am fine. Now let's start with the Alumni Association planning. I'll request our beloved President Kalyani sir to say something about the Sapere Audi, our online journal.
Thank you, Bidyut. Many of you were very happy that you have come across a strenuous journey for a few days. And may God bless you. And dear brothers and sisters, many of us are very well known. We are knowing that there is one e-journal being continued by the Alumni Association, but many of us may not feel the depth of this e-journal. Alumni Association wants to keep something being inspired that history of homeopathy is history of sacrifice of brilliant personals, not ordinary people like us. Master Hanneman, Master Kent, Farrington, Honing Hossein, many, many. And the entire history of development of homeopathy is through sacrifice. To the extent of anything, none of us will be able to feel the strain of Master Hanneman, how he was tortured and was chased from one country to other, and how much strength of mind he had, being already separate, that he will establish the truth at any cost, at the cost of his own life. He sacrificed his life, children's, wife. These things are well known to you. That's why Alumni Association has decided that as because we are the brilliant scholars of the world, I think, in homeopathy, because we have been screened thoroughly, who are now teaching in the institution, They are first screened in the undergraduate NET, then undergraduate examination university, then postgraduate university, then interview of the examination. So finally and repeatedly they were screened. That's why I call the most brilliant scholars of the world in homeopathy is alumnus of NIH. So naturally, as because our system is through devotions, through sacrifice, and for us, and was absolutely unconditional. See, we are doing seminars, there is a condition that people must be happy, they must learn something, the association should survive, the association should grow and expand. But Master Hahnemann, Kent, and others simply they had the desire that a truth of therapeutic system should be established for the poor people, for the suffering humanity. So it is our responsibility to all of us that we must share this tradition of devotion, tradition of contributing something to keep the homeopathy alive and with progressively increasing strength scientifically. That is why all it is our earnest request to all of you that you please share your experience, what you have gathered by seeing the cases, by literal studies, by incidental experiences, whatever you're getting, please try to share, please try to write an article, if not in very detail, in brief also, to our Audi Separate, the journal, because it will be a permanent asset for homeopathy. Our desire by the seniors are this Audi Separate journal must be the best of the world, because the best possible brains are here. But reluctantly, we may be a bit reluctant to give the articles, being rather shaky that it is time consuming. I have to write, then I have to correct, then I have to edit, etc. etc. But my request is that whatever you're having, please give us to us. Let it be published in the journal. Let it be a permanent assets. And I am sure that there is none, even a single alumni of NIH, who is having nothing to share, nothing to give as articles. If any of us has cured 4 cases, give it in the journal. Let the other people see that these type of cases can be confidently cured. So, literal, clinical, whatever you are gaining, achieving, please try to make a little article, if not very details, and give it to e-journal, because that will be our permanent asset, and that will make us proud that we have a journal which is up to the standard and quite informative. Our editorial board, they are trying their well best, but what they are finding that we have become to some extent reluctant to give articles. Even I am requesting that those who have come as speaker in the CME, make your subject of presentation as an article and give it to us for publication in the e-journal. So, in different ways, whatever available to you, please make an article. If necessary, take the help of your juniors or some others. Make an article and send to us for publication, by which our publication Audi Separate may take the best possible rank in publications. Recently, you might be knowing that publication is becoming gradually weak due to lack of brilliancy, lack of competency. Because we are having those qualities, brothers and sisters, please send articles as much as possible and encourage others to write articles and to send it. We are having a brilliant editorial board. If your editing is difficult, send it to us. We'll try our level best to make it edited and we'll publish it. Thank you very much. Please try and send articles.
Thank you so much, sir. And another good news for Sapre Audi, this edition for the Golden Jubilee celebration, we'll be bringing it in the print format too, so that you can see your articles in the printed format. Not only the e-journal will be there, will be published on the day of 12th of December, but moreover, it will be given in the printed version. Every alumni meet, we used to get it in the printed version. And regarding the alumni meet, there is a lot of good news for the PG MD students as well as the alumni. across the globe. We had uploaded our link to register your presence. If you need accommodation, the link is shared. The accommodation with your budget you have to pay over there. You will make arrangements with the hotels, but we need your consent, your budget, so that we can negotiate with the hotels accordingly the rates. And the other thing is, the as been conveyed by and invited by our beloved director, Dr. Pralay Sharma. 10th and 11th will be the program from NIH. The details will be announced in due course through NIH portal. But 12th is the alumni meet, that's the final. And we will be having alumni session, that is the general alumni session, whole day get together. We have a lot of fun, frolic program, nostalgias to be shared, experienced, and felt. But we'll be having scientific sessions throughout the day. It will be a national seminar in the seminar hall where the MD students and others, the alumni as well as the PGTs across the country can participate. It will be a PG seminar there, which will be covered by the respected guides, the PG guides of the alumni from the alumni of NIH, and we'll be trying to have a poster presentation on that same day. Both of these are there in the curriculum of PG of NCH, so we are trying to get it incorporated accordingly. And in between, another important message to all the alumni that we are trying to have physical meeting in NIH itself, in the NIH alumni office, as well as online meetings. You can see the online meeting notification in the website as well as in the NIH Alumni Association WhatsApp channel and Telegram channel. But the physical meeting, next physical meeting will be in September 12th at NIH from 2 p.m. And with that, about the alumni meet, I'll take permission from our president, sir, to bring up today's inaugurator on screen, sir.
Sure, please call her.
Young, dynamic maker of future alumni, Dr. Laxmi. She had joined as an assistant professor in NIH, and we are proud to have such young blood joining the stream to bring up new alumni of NIH, bring up brilliant brains of homeopathy in for the country as well as of the globe. I'll request Dr. Orko to bring up today's inaugurator on screen. Orko, Dr. Laxmi. I think there has been some network challenges, and that we are facing through and through many a times.
But it could not arrest our progress.
Yeah, we are
No
still
constraint for us.
slowly and steadily going ahead.
Sure.
Uh, the time we get connected with Dr. Laxmi, we will be airing our 125th online CME that will be in October, and the expected date is 12th of October. And 125th CME will be uh, clinical case conclave. 1 minute, I am getting calls. You just exit and click on the link, join again. Yeah, please join again. Orko will be taking you in.
Rejoining.
Dr. Laxmi is rejoining.
Okay.
And we'll be having the 125th CME on 12th of October after the puja. It will be treated as post Dasera Vijayadashami CME, but 125th episode will be very interesting. We'll be requesting the alumnus to get prepared, give your name, see the WhatsApp channel, see the website. There, the notification has already been aired in the WhatsApp channel. We will be picking up the first 15 or 10 or 15 entries to present one case each. One case each. The clinical case conclave, you can present your successful case in a short time, that is 7 to 10 minutes. Get your preparations ready. We did this in the 99th episode, which has been aired last year. I don't remember the date. I'll get go through the dates, and we'll be airing it again on 125th. We need new speakers. Already, I got 5 speakers enlisted, been connected by new PGTs and UGs. So we need a lot of people. Please get your case ready. Welcome, Dr. Laxmi. Welcome. The stage is all
Hello, sir.
yours.
Thank you so much, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you so much, sir. A very good evening to everyone, all the viewers and all my seniors here. On behalf of the NIH Alumni Association, I warmly welcome you all to this 123rd online CME being broadcast through YouTube Live. It is indeed a privilege to be a part of today's session on such a thought-provoking and fundamental topic, that is first rudimentary of Materia Medica and insight through toxicology. I extend my heartfelt greetings to our esteemed moderator, Professor Dr. Avijit Shee Burman sir, and to our distinguished speaker of the evening, that is Dr. Sanjib Sahoo. I also wish to acknowledge the efforts of the NIH Alumni Association for consistently creating such academic platform that strengthen our scientific vision and enrich our collective learning. So today's topic is on Materia Medica, relating it to the toxicology. Materia Medica forms the very foundation of our homeopathic practice, and exploring its root through the lens of toxicology is something very different. It will allow us to appreciate both its scientific depth and a practical significance. This intersection is not only enriching for our understanding as an academicians and practitioners, but it also strengthens the bridge between the classical knowledge and the modern perspective. With these words, I feel honored to formally inaugurate today's CME session. May this academic gathering inspire us, stimulate us, meaningful discussion would be in the place, and open new vistas in the pursuit of excellence in homeopathy. And now I would like Avijit Shee Burman sir to take it forward.
Sir is yet to join, so I guess Sanjib sir will take over for now. Sanjib sir, over to you, sir.
Okay. Dr. Sanjib is an assistant professor in Department of Forensic Medicines and Toxicology, and he is very brilliant. You all might, the NIH alumni might know. He is also ex-alumnus of NIH only. So over to you, Dr. Sanjib.
Thank you so much, Dr. Laxmi Mahto, my colleague. And very good evening to all of you present here. Thank you so much, NIH Alumni Association, for giving me this platform to express something, to express my views on the topic, that is the first rudimentary of Materia Medica, that is an insight through toxicology. Dr. Orko, is my slide visible? Is it visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible. It's visible, sir. You
Yes,
can take over.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My heartfelt gratitude is to Dr. Bidyut Mukherjee sir and Dr. Kalyani sir, and obviously all the alumni of all the persons who are there in NIH Alumni Association for giving me this platform. And welcome to all our viewers who are present here. and we'll see it later on. The very history of toxicology, the very beginning of toxicology, it is as old as the history of medicine. We can uh, we can see the toxicology, the very basics of toxicology through different phases of the history of medicine, like Egyptian and Mesopotamian medicine. They mention poisons and antidotes in their writings, that is known as Ebras Papyrus. It was there. And Egyptian and Mesopotamian medicine, they speaks of using poison in cases of execution and assassination. So very earlier civilization, like Egyptian and Mesopotamian civilization, they are very convenient with use of poisons. Second thing is, the one revolution was there during Greek civilization, that was by Hippocrates, our father of medicine. He is also gave some ideas of toxicology. He was the first person who differentiate between therapeutic and toxic effects of a substance. A substance can be used as a therapeutic tool, and the same substance can be used as a toxic material. So that differentiation was done by none other than Hippocrates. And third person who is there in Dioscorides, we all know that he is the person who is called as the father of Materia Medica. We know his famous book, that was the Materia Medica Libri Quinqui. That was He was the person of first century, and that book contains 500 my description of 500 medicinal plants. And at that time, that was the guiding book of Materia Medica, not only for Greek physicians, but also all throughout the world. uh, Coming to next person who is there, uh, in who was very famous in this context, in the sense that the symptoms of poisons, the very toxicological symptoms, they were introduced in our literature through the sacrifices of many persons. uh, okay, there may be some suicidal cases, there may be some accidental cases, but in our history, it is the dark phase of our history, that to know the effect of a poison, a group of person, mostly natives of Africans and some popular persons also, I will come later on, they were being poisoned, to know the effects of that poison in human body. This picture, this was drawn, this art was made by Louis David in 1787. This picture tells of the death of Socrates, La Morte di Socrates. La Morte di Socrates, this was the picture depicting the last hours of death of Socrates. Uh, this is based on a case story. This is the case story that was written by Plato, who was an ardent follower of Socrates. Socrates was charged with corrupting the youths. Actually, he was preaching the truth. He was preaching the truth, and he was charged with religious impiety. That uh, he is doing something which is harmful for the religion at that time, and he was sentenced death by Athenian Dicas. Athenian Dicas, that was the jury formed by some peers. That was the jury, group of the judges. They they prescribed the sentence with administration of Athenian state poison. Athenian state poison is hemlock, and the physician poisoners who physician poisoner, he was there. He introduced uh, poison into the body of the Socrates, and he asked him to walk. He asked him walk, and Socrates, obviously, the hemlock poison, it is a nerve poison. It affects the peripheral nervous system and ultimately affects the spinal cord and other nerves. Thing is that whenever Socrates started walking, he feels very difficulty in walking, staggering, and it was being paralyzed, because we all know that this hemlock is having ascending type of paralysis. From lower limb, it ascends upward. Socrates lays down, that picture depicts that Socrates lays down on a on the lounge, and that time also the attitude of the Socrates was very much inspiring. That time also he is preaching the truth to his disciples. He was preaching regarding the immortality of the soul. He was preaching regarding the truth in the religion. He was preaching the philosophical teachings to his disciples. And ultimately, Socrates died. And the most painful part of this hemlock poisoning is that the pain of that poisoning, the person feels till death, because the consciousness, the alertness of the person who is poisoned, that remains till death. And the disciples, mainly Plato, he wrote the symptoms of hemlock poison, and that was there in the literature, that was known as Phaedo. It was written in Athenian, in the prison, by Plato. It is introduced, obviously, the hemlock, it is Orconium mac, that is there in our literature, in our Materia Medica. In Conium mac symptomatology, we will get the similar type of pathogenesis, like ascending type of paralysis. The paralysis will start in the lower limb and ascends upward. Very similar to the to the effects of the poison hemlock on the body of the Socrates. So very basic thing is like that. If we are getting some symptom, some clinical symptom, like paralysis, ascending type of paralysis, like convulsion with consciousness, like blue lines in between gums, these are not proving symptom. So our Materia Medica, it is based on the proving symptoms. It is based on the clinical symptoms. It is based on the symptoms which is obtained from bedside. It is also based on certain toxicological symptoms. Why toxicology important in the study of Materia Medica? The main essence is like that, it gives the hints of the action of the drug. It gives the hints of the pathogenesis of the drug, so that we are getting the first rudimentary of the Materia Medica, and that is from toxicology. Now come to our portion, that is homeopathy and toxicology. Hahnemann, he himself told that the first rudimentary of Materia Medica is toxicology, or that proving of the poisons. The very first experiment of Hahnemann on himself, that is based on certain symptoms which is produced by intake of crude substances. Hahnemann took 4 grams of China twice daily. Yes, and after that he developed certain signs and symptoms, and from which Hahnemann was very much confident that these symptoms are due to the medicinal effect of this substance. This is due to this substance. This is the action of this substance. And Constantine Hering, in guiding symptom of our Materia Medica, we can see that there are certain signs, like theta stands between the cured symptom and the pathological condition. We can see in the Materia Medica. We can see all these like hand sign, like T. T is there. T denotes the toxicological symptom. In many places of Hering's Materia Medica, we can get this T, toxicological symptom, in different medicines. And Hering also, he reproved Hahnemann's experiment, that is the China experiment with China, Shinkonaberg. Uh, he reproved. So basic thing is that Hering also, uh, he was considered as the father of clinical Materia Medica. First mature Materia Medica was brought into our profession by Constantine Hering, such a dedicated person. Uh, Throughout his life, he sacrificed all his luxuries, all his uh, things to homeopathy. And Richard Hughes and T.F. Allen. We know T.F. Allen's the symptom register and encyclopedia, Allen's encyclopedia, T.F. Allen's encyclopedia. That is the collection of all the symptoms from Hahnemann's time to till the last person of the British Homeopathic Society. So T.F. Allen, he compiled all the symptoms, including the toxicological symptoms, in his encyclopedia. Richard Hughes, in the British Homeopathic Society, that conference, he also told something which is very revolutionary at that time, which is beyond the thoughts of the then homeopaths. What was that? Richard Hughes was the person who first talked about animal proving, who first talked about the importance of researches in homeopathy. Research use, he first talked about the toxicological proving also. So thing is that Richard Hughes, he was the pioneer of this modern concept of homeopathy or modernization of homeopathy, and he never, obviously, in adherence to the basic principles, in strict adherence to the Hahnemannian principle. Though many times he is being criticized by many of our pioneers, but thing is that he was very much ardent follower of Hahnemannian principle. Now come to organopathy. The title of this slide is Organopathy Demands Sound Knowledge of Toxicology. This picture, it was the picture of Paracelsus, the Swiss physician. The full name of Paracelsus, probably it is written there. It is very old thing, and it is written there. Theophrastus Bombastus von Hohenheim. That was the full name of Paracelsus. He was considered as father of toxicology. He is the father of toxicology. The concept of Paracelsus, if you study the literature by Paracelsus, there were two things. One was his sound knowledge, in-depth knowledge of alchemy, which was very much popular in that time. The main essence of the alchemy was like that. From different other metals, they are trying to produce gold. That is the main aim of alchemy. And he was very much a scholar person in that alchemy. And second thing was in his writing on long life. The writings of Paracelsus, that is divided into broadly into two. One is on alchemy, and second one is on long life. In the long life, Paracelsus is considered as the father of organopathy. His view is like that: there is a macrocosm and there is a microcosm. Microcosm is our body, the internal environment, and macrocosm is the external environment. And the view of Paracelsus was like that. He told that this macrocosm and microcosm, the external environment and internal environment, that is governed by the same principle. So the principle which governs the internal environment of our human body, that is also is in external environment. And external environment, it is having a counterpart of the internal environment. that was at that time, at that point of time, that was a revolutionary thing. And yes, he was the person who considered the doctrine of signature as the basis of the organopathy or as the basis of the medicine. So Paracelsus was the person who was the father of toxicology, father of organopathic medicine. Organopathy is like that organ specific medicine. It is this was the concept that our there are certain medicine which is having organ specific action, like uh, myrica, it affects on liver. Like ornithogalum umbilitum, it affects on the pyloric end of the stomach. Like other medicines, obviously, because of this organopathy, organ affinity, we consider the sphere of action in our study of Materia Medica. Yes, apart from our broad medicines like polycrest medicine, other medicines, small medicines, or some short-acting medicine, they are having organ-specific actions. We cannot deny it. We cannot deny it. So later on, that was implicated by famous homeopaths like James Crompton Barnett, Clark, to some extent E.V. Nash. So they introduced that concept of organopathy or organ-specific medicine in our literature. And obviously, they practiced those organ medicines very judiciously and with a great success. Barnett was the person. After his demise, the London Times, the heading of the London Times was like that: the greatest homeopath of London, greatest physician of London passed away. So that much popularity Barnett had, and we all know that. We all know that. Next, we'll come to our approach will be like that. It is not possible to express or to write down all the things of poisoning or toxicological symptoms and corroboration with Materia Medica. It is very difficult. So I am giving some examples. These are some examples only, and within it I will try to give a small message or small essence regarding the toxicology and this Materia Medica portion. Thallium. So thallium we consider is ideal homicidal poison is thallium. It replaces potassium in potassium dependent enzyme, damages ribosome, so protein synthesis. So protein synthesis is principally hampered in thallium poisoning. The result is failure of the aerobic respiration. In the peripheral nervous system, it causes dying back or Wallerian degeneration, and it causes some neuropathy. It causes acute myelin fragmentation. So myelination is hampered, very important. And as a result of which we will get motor neuropathy or disturbances of motor functions. Stunted mitosis of hair follicle, and because of this stunted mitosis of hair follicle, the hair falls out very rapidly. It causes destruction of the hair shaft cells. So hair shaft cells, they are basically degenerated in cases of thallium poisoning. If you come to our Materia Medica portion, this is the medicine. Thallium is the medicine which was discovered by Crook in the residuum left from the distillation of the selenium. Crook first discovered this uh, metal, very rare metal, that is thallium, heavy metal, thallium, from the distillation from the selenium, and he named the metal as thallium because it gives some green specter, greenish एक halo आता है, that is the very basic property of thallium. In Materia Medica, we are getting ataxia in the pathogenesis of thallium. The ataxia is like that: patient is having neuralgia, lancinating pain, like electric shock pain. This medicine relieves the violent pain of locomotor ataxia. In some book, it is written that it relieves the violent lancinating pain of tabes dorsalis, that is neurosyphilis. So in ataxia, we are in various nervous condition, we are getting some ataxic gait, and if patient is having incoordinated muscle contraction, and along with that patient is feeling violent pain, to relieve the violent pain, our masters they are talking about this medicine thallium, because in toxicity it causes Wallerian degeneration of the uh, nerve fibers, mainly that is of myelin sheath. Okay, it causes paraplegia. And the symptom in our Materia Medica is that formication and numbness. We all know that formication numbness that begins from the fingers and extend to through the pelvis and through the inner thigh into lower extremity. That is the typical paraplegia or that nervous symptom of thallium. Very commonly we use this medicine in case of alopecia. In cases of alopecia, when there is rapidly alopecia after acute disease, one of our prescription is thallium. Like after typhoid fever, there is different medicine. After fever, fluoric acid. After typhoid fever, we can think of the medicines like soranum, carbobase, like that. Bad effects of typhoid. Thallium is the medicine after acute existing disease if there is rapidity of the hair fall. This thallium is compared with some medicines like plumbum mate. Thallium causes demyelination, plumbum mate causes demyelination. That is the similarity in toxicology, and beauty of Materia Medica is the thallium is having the typical demyelination symptom is extending from the extremities, from the upper extremities, going through the pelvis into the lower extremity, and with violent pain. In plumbum mate, we are getting the symptoms of demyelination mainly affecting the extensor muscles. Okay, it can be okay, in plumbum mate we will get severe emaciation of the affected part, that is there, which is not there in thallium. It is compared with lathyrus. We all know that lathyrus is the BOA, beta oxaloacetic acid, that is causing neurolathyrism, that is causing some neurological symptoms like ataxic gait, like if we examine the jerk of lathyrus sativa, it is always exaggerated, and we in the lathyrus symptomatology we get the symptom that toe never leave the floor and heel never touches the floor in cases of neurological disorders, in cases of muscular dystrophies. Okay, and this medicine thallium can be compared with causticum also, which causes in causticum pathogenesis we will get the differences that thallium is having violent pain but not soreness. In lathyrus we are getting the neurological symptom but pain is not there that much marked, but in causticum we are getting very much soreness and mainly affects the flexor group of muscles. So that is the very basic differences. Next we come to the poison lead or plumbum. Lead is basically a poison which is a heavy metal poison. It combines with sulfahydryl group, and it interferes with the mitochondrial oxidative phosphorylation. It interferes with production of ATPase and calcium dependent messengers. They are inactivated by lead. It enhances the oxidation and apoptosis. In CNS, it causes degeneration. It causes it causes some deleterious effects on the nerve cells. And myelin C, it causes demyelination. It acts on the proximal tubule of the nephron, causes proximal tubular necrosis. That is the basic action of the lead. And in the lead poisoning, we are getting the symptomatology like anemia. Very earliest symptom is facial pallor. Okay, anemia is because of this interference with the enzymes and sulfhydryl group. Then we will get the lead colic, very typical colic. Colic is so severe that patient bends double. And lead constipation. In adults, we are getting, in lead poisoning, we are getting the wrist drops, foot drops. That is there. Because lead affects the radial nerve, and in radial nerve palsy, obviously, we will get the wrist drops. In children, in lead poisoning, we are getting this encephalopathy, lead encephalopathy. So these are the symptomatology. It is there in chronic lead poisoning. In the blood picture of lead poisoning, we will get some basophilic stippling. We all know that in the RBCs, in the cytoplasm of the RBC, we will get some basophilic stippling, some blue colored pin-headed pigmentation. And in the gum, if we examine the gum of a person who is having lead poisoning, we will get blue line in the gum, blue streaks in the gum. That is there in the symptomatology of the lead toxicity. Now come to our Materia Medica. That this lead is known as the Saturn of alchemist, and plumbum. It was proved by Hartlub, Trinks, Herring, and Nenning. Though Hahnemann criticized Nenning, telling him as ever-ready symptom producer, but thing is that the contribution of Nenning in Materia Medica, it is beyond any doubt. If he was not there, then we have missed many important medicines. So thing is that Hartlub, Trinks, Nenning, and Herring, they proved this medicine plumbum. And Clark is telling that this medicine, to their symptoms, these have been added, those of numbness and paralysis, that symptoms, that numberless cases of poisoning among the workers with lead and painters, symptoms from drinking lead contaminated water, and from the use of lead in cosmetics, and from cases of suicide. So Clark is telling that in the Materia Medica, the symptomatology of the lead, symptomatology of the plumbum, these symptoms are greatly introduced. So it is there, and from that time, from the time of the proving of the plumbum till date, we are using those symptoms as clinical symptom. We are using it, those symptoms, as the guiding of as a guidance of our prescription, and we are getting success. That itself reveals that the symptoms of toxicology, the symptoms of poisoning, that is corroborating with the clinical symptoms, that is having some importance in their clinical pathogenesis. Okay. In Materia Medica, we are getting mental depression, quiet melancholy, and that symptom that patient is very much depressed, patient is having impression of suspected crime, fear of assassination, in being assassinated in cases of a as if he is convicted in a suspected crime. In Materia Medica, we are getting optic neuritis, which is very much corroborating with the demyelination of the optic nerve. And in very importantly, in late poisoning, we are getting amaurosis. So amaurosis is basically the demyelination of the optic nerve and optic neuritis. In late poisoning, we are getting colic, tremendous colic, and in our Materia Medica, we are getting that the person is having colic, the patient is having colic, uh, and there is a string drawn sensation as if there is a string which is drawing from the umbilicus to the spine. That typical sensation is there in our Materia Medica. Constipation because of impaction of the bowel, which is there also in late poisoning. And anus, in the anus that is drawn up, and there is some constriction. Paralysis of single muscle, wrist drop, cramps, and loss of patellar reflex. This is there in our Materia Medica, and this was the symptoms of J.C. Burnett. It was observed by J.C. Burnett that yes, that is the loss of patellar reflex, cramps, wrist drops. It is there, and later on it was incorporated by J.S. Clark in his Materia Medica, the Dictionary of Materia Medica. This late causes chronic intestinal nephritis, and obviously in chronic intestinal nephritis we are getting albuminuria with low specific gravity urine, which is very characteristic of plumbum met. In Clark's Materia Medica, he is citing an observation of Tungelman. It was Tungelman. He published the article in British Journal of Homeopathy, and case was like that. He has reported number of cases of acute poisoning from drinking water contaminated with lead. That was the observation of Tungelman, and those observations he published in British Journal of Homeopathy in volume 32. Now it is popularly the name is changed. It is Homeopathy, Robert T. Matthew, the editor-in-chief. So a person named the affected person, he was acute. He was ill for 3 weeks, unable to retain any food in the stomach, constant vomiting of greenish watery material, skin is yellowish, and tongue is coated yellow. There is some fur in the tongue. This yellowishness, these GI symptoms, based on that, Tungelman, he prescribed Hydrostis 3, Hydrostis in third potency, and that relieved the patient's status, relieved vomiting. But 3 months after, the patient developed paralysis of the hand, and patient developed wrist drop. Later on, the case was investigated further, and it was shown that the water contains lead. The water is contaminated with lead. So that was the toxicological or the accidental proving or accidental symptoms that was there cited by Tungelman, and that was introduced in Clark's Materia Medica. Now come to another medicine, which is mercury. Another thing I found that in late poisoning, that person is in the symptomatology of plumbum met, we are getting the person is very much depressed, Person is very much depressed, person is very much apathetic, and person is having the fear of being assassinated. That is there. That means tremendous anxiety, tremendous depression, it is there. uh, I searched that neuropsychiatric symptomatology in lead poisoning. In That was that one research was carried out by Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, NCH CDC. That was studied. The study was on 1,987 individuals. Uh, the result of the study that blood lead levels and major depressive disorder and panic disorder and general anxiety disorder, 84% individual, they have experienced that increase in the lead in the blood, that is leading to major depressive disorders, panic disorders, anxiety disorders, like that. So it is there, the toxicological symptoms are there, and we are getting also proving symptom or clinical symptoms in the symptomatology of plumbum mate. Yes. Another heavy metal, the symptoms can be corroborated with the symptoms of our Materia Medica. Mercury is a heavy metal which and it binds with sulfhydryl group. Toxicity to CNS, it is there. Toxic effects on the CNS, it is there. Metal mercury vapor is also irritant to respiratory system. It is very much irritant. It is an irritant. Obviously, it is an irritant to GI mucosa. So in the symptomatology of mercury poisoning, we are getting salivation, excessive salivation. We are getting some tremor or shaking palsy, that is known as intention tremor or Danbury tremor. It first affects the hands, then progresses to the lips and tongues. Mostly it is found in the person who are working in a glass factory. So it is known as hatter shake or glass blower shakes. So shaking tremor, intention tremor, it is basically a coarse tremor starting from hands, ultimately involves the tongue and lips. Yes, it is there in its pathogenesis. Then second thing is mercurial erythism. Mercurial erythism, it is the neuropsychiatric symptoms which is there in mercury poisoning. Like in mercury poisoning, we will get chronic insomnia, we will get depression, anxiety, timidity, some sort of explosive irritability, some mood changes, uh, some emotional instability. That is there in the neuropsychiatric symptoms of mercury poisoning. Different types of delusions, hallucinations, it is included. Even some night terrors are also there in symptomatology of mercury. So that is known as mercurial erythism or neuropsychiatric symptoms. It is there in mercury. PCT damage, proximal convoluted tubule damage. PCT damage, it occurs, mercury causes damage to the proximal convoluted tubule along with carbolic acid. So two poisons, they are having affinity towards the proximal convoluted tubule, namely mercury and mercury as carbolic acid. Mercury causes gastroenteritis, and in the symptoms we will get bloody stool, severe tenesmus, and cramps in the abdomen, cramps in the bowel, and we will get some mucus and blood, threads of mucus and blood in the stool. So these are the symptoms of mercurial poison. Let's see what is there in our Materia Medica. Uh, the first expression of mercury, as per Kent, that is the hastiness. The mind of mercury is very much constantly changing, very unstable mind, constantly changing from place to place with fear of losing. The person is changing his place constantly with fear of losing the reason. So fear of losing the reason and this restlessness, it is very much there in mercury poisoning also. It is there with severe internal torment, which is aggravated at night, which is aggravated when the patient is in bed at night. The patient is that anguish, restlessness, and agitation. It is pervaded throughout the medicine, throughout the symptomatology of the uh, mercury. And mental symptoms are very much clear cut in mercury, like moroseness is there, instability of ideas are there. The person is having memory disturbances like that of mercury poisoning, like that of mercurial erythism. That person cannot answer questions right off, looks things, and finally grasp it. So a condition of intellectual torpidity, it is there in mercury. In the neuropsychiatric symptoms of mercury, we have seen that there is much depression. There is much depression. There is much emotional instability. In postpartum mania, if patient is having impulses, like impulse to throw the child into fire, this is there. This is there in our Materia Medica. This is there in our Materia Medica. And in postpartum, this postpartum period, if patient is having mania and these impulses to throw something, to do something violent, like throwing the child into fire, it is also there in Hipparcell, but it is very much there in mercury. One of our choice of medicine is mercury in that case. Uh, Tialism of mercury, it is known to all. The patient is having constant dribbling of saliva. The mouth is studded with ulcer, gums and tongue, throat, and inside the cheek. Everywhere we are getting the ulcers with profuse flow of saliva. That is there in mercury. And typical appearance of the ulcer is there will be a dark halo. There will be dark halo around the ulcer. That is characteristic of mercury. We all know that. Uh, Dysentery, in mercurial dysentery, more the blood, greater mercury is indicated. It is there. Uh, when I was studying this medicine from Kent's lecture, I got a very important hint regarding the treatment of dysentery. Kent is telling that you should go to the bedside, and in a case of a dysentery with the repertory, you come to your own, you return to your home, see the symptoms in the repertory, is the case, and give the medicine. Your first prescription in case of dysentery, it should be curative. So first prescription in case of epidemic dysentery it should be curative, it should be chosen with a great accuracy and confidence. This is important. And he is telling that it is a very simple condition. Dysentery is a very simple condition to cure, but it is a bad thing to get mixed up. It is a bad thing to be mixed up in cases of epidemic dysentery. Um, Kent is telling that in case of dysentery, hesitate in giving arsenic. Very frequently in cases of dysentery, we give arsenic blindly based on certain symptoms, whether it is indicated or not. Just blindly, many of us we used to prescribe, but that was the instruction given by Kent, that hesitate in prescribing arsenic in cases of dysentery if it is not indicated totally. If it is okay, if there is a clear cut picture of arsenic, we are getting mental symptoms, we are getting prominent physical symptoms of arsenic, then it is okay to prescribe arsenic. But if the thing is mixed up, then arsenic will do much harm and will mix up the case. That was there uh, in the lectures by Kent under the drug Mercury. Okay. Neuropsychiatric features of Mercury, it is there. We have already discussed. Like in nervous system, there is a trembling of extremities, like that of Hatter's. Extremities, mainly hands, because in toxicological proving, in the symptoms of toxicology, we are getting Hatter's, Danbury tremors, we are getting glass bowlers shakes. So it is there. And in our Materia Medica, we are getting the symptoms like paralytic agitance or Parkinsonism like feature in under the pathogenesis of Mercury. The tremor in Mercury, it is so that he cannot lift anything, or he cannot eat or write anything, because there is constant tremor and constant twitching of the muscles. It is there in our Materia Medica. Uh, I can remember the same symptoms in a clinically very important medicine, that patient is having tremor and patient cannot hold a glass of water. The medicine is Lolium. It is there written in Borix Materia Medica. So we can compare this, compared with Lolium with the tremor of hand tremor of Mercury. Yes. Uh, this is something which is apparently it is deviated from our main topic, but please see the case. I am telling you, I am explaining you why I have incorporated it in this seminar, or in this topic, that we are dealing with toxicology and Materia Medica. Why this case? uh, he is 36 years old male. Sorry, I forgot to cover the eyes. It should be covered. The identity should not be disclosed. 36 years old male, generalized erythrodermic psoriasis for 1 year. 1 year, for 1 year, it has been aggravated. Erythrodermic psoriasis, it is considered as the one of the worst type of psoriasis, and its prognosis is very bad. Why erythrodermic? Because already it is diagnosed by the tropical school of tropical medicine, already diagnosed case, erythrodermic psoriasis. Excessive scaling, itching, night aggravation, fever, inflammatory feature. You can see the eyes of the patient. It is extremely red. It is extremely red. I could not see the. I could not show the inner side of the mouth, and it was red and it was inflamed. Eyes are inflamed, and other inflammatory features are there. Patient is having some fever, itching, night aggravation. history of taking inappropriate dose of sulfur, thirsty for small quantities of water. The patient is having dryness of the skin. It is not at all perspiring. Patient is having suicidal tendencies because of this condition, he attempted suicide once. Uh, why? Because of our society thinks that this thing is contagious. So when the patient was traveling in train, the co-passenger, they compelled him to sit near the bathroom in spite of he is having reservation. Uh, that was the irony. So patient was having suicidal tendencies. Patient is thirsty. Patient takes small quantities of water frequently, and this much scaling is there. And this was the case from NIH OPD. And when patient was sitting over the examination room, the entire area that was filled with scales, that much scaling was there, and that much inflammatory features are there. Okay, we can appreciate the generalized. Obviously, erythrodermal psoriasis is not localized; it is generalized. Erythrodermic psoriasis. Okay, see the back, see the legs. Uh, you can see that there is swelling of the legs. There is swelling of the legs. Some edematous condition is there, along with that inflammatory features. This was the picture in first visit. Yes. What should be the medicine? You can write it in the comment section. What can be the medicine? Because of paucity of time, okay, I could not mention enter the whole details of the patient. Just I have written the principal symptoms. Okay, I will see it later on. This is the follow-up after after 1.5 month. After 1.5 month, this was the follow-up. You can appreciate that the patient is very much having good looking, and patient is having no uh, this psoriatic plaques entirely disappeared, no scaling, and the skin is very much okay. But thing is that in psoriasis, our teachers used to say that if psoriasis, that patches or the symptoms are they are disappeared, then don't be happy. If it gets worse, so don't be morose, don't be depressed. That patient's symptoms has uh, aggravated. But thing is that this was the result was within very short period. Within 1.5 month, we are getting this kind of result. The medicine was Mercurius Marksol 30. I will explain why Marksol 30. That was the follow-up prescription that was there. So I will explain why Marksol 30. The patient was having some patches, some eczematous condition, or something was there. Some patches are there, some itching patches were there, and scaling was there. And after that, the patient was inappropriately given sulfur, and local doctor he prescribed sulfur 25 drops BD for 1 month, and after that he was somewhat after getting the patient he was somewhat uh, reduced the dose. The next month he prescribed 20 drops of sulfur BD for next 1 month, and till the patient developed this kind of generalized erythrodermic psoriasis. After that, the patient visited Tropical School of Tropical Medicine. You all know that, very famous institute in Kolkata, but no improvement. In our NIH also, many medicines were tried, but very without any effect. Why Marshall? Because of 246 aphorism footnote. Hahnemann there, he is telling that if patient is having allopathically, patient has taken allopathically sulfur. Sulfur is taken allopathically in a large dose. If patient is showing the aggravation of some symptoms, then gives mercurious metal X degree. There are two options. One is Heifer sulfur and second one is mercury metal X degree. That is the mercurius 30. And Hahnemann is telling that very much specific in his that protocol. Hahnemann is having some protocol of the medicines, like protocol in certain diseases, like in cases of antisodic, in case of soda, and the protocol of antisodic medicine. Hahnemann is very much specific. Hahnemann is telling that mercury metal X degree in olfaction, but we prescribed in oral dose mercury 30, 3 doses. That was the prescription, and this was the result. After that, placebo. You can see that mercury Marshall 60 by 0, 3 doses, placebo, liquid lactopane, it is there. Why mercury? Why mercury? Because Hahnemann has instructed. Later on, I found that this mercury and sulfur, they are having some relationship. Like mercury can antidote sulfur. How? Because mercury is a heavy metal. It has specific affinity to the sulfhydryl group, and later on it is seen that that double S bond, disulfide bond, it is captured by the disulfide bond. It is broken by mercury. There are several researches is there in different journals of toxicology, uh, telling that, depicting that disulfide bond, that is the strongest bond, S triple bond S, that is having mercury is having affinity to the sulfhydryl group. Mercury is having affinity to the disulfide bond also. So that was the things. Yes, in certain cases, the knowledge of pathology, the knowledge of this toxicology is helpful in explaining the clinical condition too. Though the basic was aphorism 246 footnote, that was the base. Arsenic, another heavy metal, which is having tremendous similarity from toxicological symptom and our Materia Medica. So in arsenic poisoning, we are getting it interferes the cellular respiration. Basically, it binds with the sulfhydryl group, inhibits cellular glucose uptake, gluconeogenesis, and fatty acid oxidation. That is the action of arsenic. In our toxicological finding, we are getting some acute symptoms of arsenic, acute manifestation of arsenic poisoning, and some chronic manifestation of arsenic poisoning. In acute manifestation, tremendous severe burning after taking the arsenic, that is extending from the oral cavity up to esophagus into stomach, constant nausea, persistent vomiting, burning sensation, and sometimes vomitus contains bloody vomiting, burning sensation throughout the GIT, thirst is excessive thirst, and whenever it is taken, it is vomited out. There is the features, the arsenic symptomatology, it resembles the acute gastroenteritis. So there is severe purging and vomiting with defecation. Initially, the uh, stool is blackish or brownish, and later on it is rice water is stool. very characteristic of arsenic poisoning. We all know that it acts on the heart. It causes hypotension. It causes pulmonary edema and circulatory collapse. In chronic arsenic poisoning, we may find some symptoms. Like this one. Over the in the first picture, we are getting some sort of pigmentation in the upper part of chest. This is basically raindrop pigmentation, popularly known as raindrop pigmentation, found in chronic arsenic poisoning. This is basically a morbilliform rash found in upper part of chest. And in the later picture, we are getting some sort of hyper thickening of the skin. That is uh, hyperkeratosis of the palms and soles. Hyperkeratosis tylori, it is there. Palmaris et plantaris, tylori, hyperkeratosis tylori, palmaris et plantaris. That was the typical toxicological expression. Uh, it is there. And hyperkeratosis of the palms and soles, if it is not arsenic poisoning, it may be a symptom of esophageal cancer. So if patient is having history of smoking, or patient is having continuous prolonged time of reflux esophagitis, and patient is having, and on observation we are getting hyperkeratosis of the palms and soles, we can come to the diagnosis of arsenic poisoning.
I guess some network issues have been occurred. Please hold on, viewers.
Okay.
Friends, please hold on. We are trying to connect with Dr. Sanjib Sahoo sir, and I guess there is some issues. Sahoo sir is back.
Yes.
Sir, you can just continue again. Just do the same process by presenting the slide again, like
Sure,
previously
sure,
told,
sure,
sir.
sure. Uh, is the slide visible, Orko?
Yes, it's visible, sir. You can see it now.
Visible now? Okay. Extremely sorry for this interruption.
Hey, Dr. Sanjib.
So we can
Sanjib
continue our
sir,
discussion. Yes.
Avijit C. Burman sir is back with you.
Okay.
Dr.
Very good
Sanjib,
evening
can
to.
you? No, it's not your problem. It was a network issue. Don't worry. Proceed with you. We could hear up to the hyperkeratosis. Proceed thereafter.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Yes. Yes. So arsenic interferes with cellular respiration. Uh, Mitochondrial enzymes, they are inactivated by arsenic, and so ATP synthesis is hampered. So whenever ATP synthesis is hampered in our body, the patient will feel severe exhaustion. Patient is exhausted. Patient is exhausted on slightest walking or slightest exertion, and we will get in arsenic symptomatology great exhaustion, irritable, and it is very much irritable weakness. Patient is very much physically too weak to move, but patient is restless. Unquenchable thirst, as we find in cases of arsenic poisoning, patient drinks in sips because there is tremendous nausea and vomiting. The water remains in the stomach like a stone, so patient drinks in sips, little quantity at a time. Degenerative changes, cachexia, anemia, it is there in Materia Medica. We can find that in cancer also. If patient is having cachexia, if patient is having severe weakness, in cases of cancer, regardless of their location, one of our choice is arsenic. Skin is dry, rough, scaly. We all know that that cigarette paper like scaling in case of uh, different skin diseases, that is there in arsenic. Urticaria with burning and restlessness, attacks of croup instead of usual urticaria, it is there in arsenic symptomatology. GI symptoms are very much marked. Arsenic is the diarrhea is typically that rice watery diarrhea, along with that typical exhausted feature, vomiting, thirst, it is there. While studying this arsenic symptomatology, chronic arsenic symptomatology, I found many symptoms like measline, like very common symptom, like that raindrop pigmentation, hyperkeratosis, palmaris, palm and soles, it is there. I found one very interesting symptom, that in cases of chronic arsenic poisoning, the patient is thirstless. While studying this, when I came across this symptom, I just reminded the symptoms of chronic arsenic, which is there in Kent. Kent is telling that chronic arsenic is thirstless. Uh, that is clinical symptom. I don't know whether it is incorporated from toxicology or it was uh, proving symptom or clinical symptom, but it is there in our toxicology. Naxvomica, it antagonizes the inhibitory neurotransmitter glycine, very popular poison, very popular medicine, very commonly used medicine in our day-to-day practice. Uh, the strychnine and brucine, Loganin, these are the active principles. The strychnine, mainly it antagonizes the inhibitory neurotransmitter glycine in the postsynaptic neurons, not in presynaptic neurons. It antagonizes glycine neurotransmitter in the postsynaptic neuron. This glycine is basically inhibitory in action. So glycine inhibits the neural transmission, but Naxvomica, it antagonizes glycine. So ultimately, what will happen? Small stimulus, certain very subnormal stimulus, which is below the threshold level, which is not expected to cause certain violent muscular spasm, because of Naxvomica poisoning, because of this inhibition of this glycine, antagonized glycine, small stimulus, simple touch, light, sound, it will produce violent muscular spasm. Nux vomica metabolism, the metabolites, they are 80% they are excreted through liver and 20% through urine. So in Nux vomica poisoning, we are getting the symptoms of related to nervous system, more specifically spinal symptoms, because Nux vomica is a spinal poison. And we are getting the symptoms of gastrointestinal tract and liver. In the symptomatology of Nux vomica, in a single word, if we see the concentrated form of Nux vomica poisoning, that is the a conscious seizure with intact consciousness. Acuity of perceptions are there, because slightest external impression worsen the patient. Neck stiffness, pupil is dilated, and convulsions are typically is typical in case of Nux vomica. Uh, Convulsions of the anti-gravity muscles that causes bending back of the body, which is known as opisthotones. There will be a contraction and convulsion of the abdominal group of muscle, body bend forward, which is known as emprosthotones, and body may be bended to backward, bended to sidewise, which is known as pleurostotones. So, and typical facial expression of Nux vomica. Yes, this is the picture showing the typical expression of Nux vomica. Rhizos sardonicus. A smiling face, the mouth is wide open, eyebrows are they are lifted, and we are getting this typical facial expression. We will also get it in case of tetanus, but also in Nux vomica we will get this kind of facial expression that is known as Rhizos sardonicus. Typical opisthotonous position, and this is the pleurostoton. So in brief, this is the symptomatology of Nux vomica poisoning. In our Materia Medica, the irritability and extreme sensitiveness is the keynote of Nux vomica. We all know that. And it is depicted in the tetanic seizure and with drawn facial expression. Convulsion with consciousness, we all know that there are two medicines are there along with Nux vomica. In Allen keynote, it is their stramonium. So convulsion with consciousness, which is the main toxicological symptom of Nux vomica poisoning, it is incorporated there in our Materia Medica. A typical conscious convulsion, a typical conscious seizure, it is there in Nux vomica. Nux vomica patient, whenever in our treatment procedure, it is maintained that the patient is kept in a dark room. No one is allowed to enter that room. It is very much it is away from all noises. It is devoid of light, and it is a calm, cool environment. Is the Nux vomica environment where the Nux vomica patients, Nux vomica poisoning patients, they are kept, because slightest noise, slightest impression, slightest stimulus, it causes violent muscular spasm. Why? Because Nux vomica, the strychnine inhibits the neurotransmitter glycine, which is inhibitory in nature, which is neuroinhibitory in nature. So patient is sensitive to external impressions. A sensitiveness of all organ, especially of sight and hearing. Clark is telling that even coffee, wine, tobacco smoke, meditation, watching, as well as windy weather also provokes Nux vomica patient. Not only the external impressions, but also these kind of stimulus are unbearable to Nux vomica patient. it is there in our Materia Medica. Burning in spine, cervicobrachial neuralgia, it is aggravated from touch. Must sit up in order to turn in bed. Patient cannot turn in bed because of severe lumbosacral backache. He must sit up. After that, he will turn in the bed. Chilliness is there, which is there also in Laxmi poisoning, incorporated in Materia Medica, that we can get the symptoms. Patient coughs up everywhere, every time, and even during fever, the body is tremendous. There is high temperature, high rise of temperature in the body, but patient covers up head to foot because of severe chilliness, severe cold, shivering sensation. Uh, this is the thing. Uh, from the body of the person, from the dead body of the person, by smelling the odor of the from the dead body, we can diagnose this poisoning. We used to tell that bitter almond smell, the smell of bitter almond, that is there in hydrocyanic acid poisoning, and it is obviously it is a cytotoxic poison. Cyanide inactivates the mitochondrial cytochrome oxidase, carbonic anhydrase. So basically, a form of histotoxic hypoxia is produced by this hydrocyanic acid. In symptomatology of hydrocyanic acid, we are getting some mental symptoms like confusions, some neurological symptoms like drowsiness, lockjaw, epileptiform tonic convulsions, stupor, coma. In the symptoms of in the cardiovascular symptoms, tachypnea, dyspnea followed by rapid slowing of the respiratory rate, and ultimately we are getting respiratory depression. Patient dies of this respiratory depression. So this is the symptom, toxicological symptom of hydrocyanic acid. In Materia Medica, we use this medicine in cases of epileptiform attack, and if along with epilepsy, patient is having collapse, patient is having cyanosis, patient is having spasmodic constriction of the larynx, it is there. So spasmodic constriction of larynx, suffocation, feeling of tightness in the chest and larynx, along with epileptiform disorders and cyanosis, the medicine is hydrocyanic acid. Yes, hydrocyanic acid, it is not a medicine of initial stage, it is a stage of collapse. So in epilepsy or other diseases like pulmonary edema, like venous congestion of the lung, in the later phases, in the terminal phases, when patient develops cyanosis, patient develops cold extremities, patient is in a state of collapse, then the medicine is hydrocyanic acid. It is there. But the symptoms, the origin, the first rudimentary, the hints is there in toxicology. Convulsions with collapse stage with cyanosis, it is also there in cases of cuprum-mate. But cuprum-mate patient, there will be severe cramps all over the body, and cuprum-mate patient will experience some aura that begins in the knees. So aura begins at the knees, cuprum-mate, aura begins, aura begins in the region of the heart before this epilepsy, that is there in calcarea arts. Aura felt at the region of abdomen, there is spasm of the diaphragm found in patient with cicuta virosa. There will be ball-like sensation because of this spasm, like that. Epilepsy without aura, Artemisia vulgaris, Zincum valeriana. There are so many medicines are there regarding this. But hydrocyanic acid, it is a It causes collapse, it causes respiratory distress, it causes pulmonary edema, and it is a obviously it is a medicine in our Materia Medica, which is for terminal stages of a disease, when the disease is in a collapse stage, patient is in a collapse stage. Uh, Orco, probably I use this wrong slide. Wrong slide means after that I have added some slides, but that is not there in my slide. How can I change it? It is there in my slide that
Sir, what happened, sir?
uh, Orco, I have after that interruption, I have chosen wrong slide.
Oh, you
Wrong
can
slide
just
means
re-upload, sir. It's okay, sir. You can just re-upload with the
okay,
same
okay.
process, sir.
Acha, acha, I
I'm
think,
just removing this slide then. You can just
okay,
re-upload
sure.
again.
Wait. We are
Viewers,
at
sorry
the
for the delay. Just bear us some moment. We will be coming back shortly. So bear us some moment until then. I guess. Okay, sir. Sir, take your time and do the process again.
um, it is uploading. Okay, we are at the end of the discussion.
Viewers, then until then, please be on hold because it's being uploading. It will take some time. Until then, just
Yes.
viewers, you
Acha,
can just
up
ask
to
any
this,
type of question now. Yes, sir. Over.
yes. Orko, please uh, bring Dr. Avijit C. Burman sir to the screen.
Yes, Dr. Sanjib.
Yes, sir.
Any problem?
Sir, I'm facing problem with sharing the screen.
No problem. I think you can proceed with your audio.
Acha. Okay.
You go on
Thank
speaking.
you.
If there is any
Okay.
technical
Uh,
issues, you can go on
yes.
speaking on the
Yes.
topic.
Uh, yes. Thank you, sir. So we are at the end. Only one poison which was left, and sir told me that this poison is having very much homeopathic similarity with our Materia Medica, and that poison is cannabis indica. Cannabis indica. Okay, I think it is. Yes. Slide has been uploaded. We can see it. So basically, cannabis indica is a very important deliriant. Um, tetrahydrocannabinol. Tetrahydrocannabinol is the main active principle of cannabis indica. Main action is that it binds to the receptors of brain and may have some stimulant, sedative action. Both catecholamine release and inhibition of the sympathetic reflexes may be seen. That means release of catecholamine, it is leading to tachycardia, and inhibition of the sympathetic fibers is leading to some symptoms like orthostatic hypotension, like excessive sweating, like some symptoms related to mental sphere. Okay, this one. So in cannabis symptomatology, we are getting two stages. One is stage of excitement, and second one is stage of narcosis. In stage of excitement, we are getting euphoria, we are getting a sense of detachment, we are getting many other symptoms in this stage of excitement, like dreaminess, subjective sense of slowing of time, very important, talkativeness, inappropriate laughing, and some may experience some unpleasant psychological reaction like panics, like depression. It is there. um, in stage of narcosis, incoordination, confusion, neuropsychiatric symptoms that prevails, and patient may go into deep sleep, wakes up with depression, nausea, or hangover. It is there. uh, Mainly death occurs due to cardiac arrest or apnea. That is the symptoms of, that is the toxicological symptom of cannabis. uh, in our Materia Medica, these symptoms, the mental symptoms and some physical symptoms, that is there, which is directly taken from cannabis toxicity. Like uh, in patient with cannabis indica, in patient of cannabis indica, we can see that the time passes slowly. Time passes slowly. It is there in cannabis poisoning. uh, Other medicines which is having this kind of time passes slowly, like argentum nitricum, like alumina, they are having this kind of symptoms, like medorinum, they are having these symptoms like time passes slowly. But alumina patient, it is because of that neurological delay, because alumina causes demyelination. So uh, that nervous excitement, that traveling, uh, that is hampered, that is delayed. And the patient of argentum nitricum, it is having time, that symptom time passes too slowly, because the patient is very much impulsive. uh, Argentum nitricum patient is one of the most impulsive patient of our Materia Medica, standing with, in the same stage with Hiperson. So argentum nitricum patient is having typical impulses like when he is seeing the open window, he has been impulses to jump out of the window. Always having some impulsive activity, some activity which is the patient is very much short tempered and impulsive. So that's why the time is passing very slowly. So in cannabis poisoning, am I audible? I think I'm audible now. Yes. So in cannabis poisoning, uh, we are getting a dull state in stage of narcosis. So in the symptomatology, we are getting two stages. One is stage of exaltation, and second is stage of very dull state. So dual nature state in patient with in patient of cannabis indica, it is there. And these symptoms like time passing very slowly, the symptoms of mind, like like that of excessive loquacity, mm, uh, clairvoyance, patient will tell about the future, excessive religious mania, and some incoherent talks, forgetfulness. It is there in cannabis symptomatology, in and it is incorporated in our Materia Medica. So thing is that what I want to say is that there are many aspects of studying Materia Medica. You can say that it is from proving symptoms as it is there, like Materia Medica Pura, like uh, Richard Hughes that writings cyclopedia. You may have some clinical aspect of of studying of Materia Medica, like that of Constantine Herring, like that of J.H. Clark, like that of Boric. We may have some systematic Materia Medica, system wise, physiological Materia Medica like Bart, and recently we can study Materia Medica through the periodic tables. These are the various aspects of Materia Medica. Pharmacological action of medicines and is resemblance with our Materia Medica symptomatology. It is also another study, and in this study we need this knowledge of toxicology. Uh, we can say that this toxicology, it gives the first hint of symptomatology, what the medicine can act in the body. So first hint is obtained from this toxicology. uh, it was there, and all stalwarts, they have admitted that the symptoms have been they are obtained initially from this, the symptoms of toxicology or symptoms of poisoning. Thank you so much. Thank you for this patience listening. Over to Dr. Professor Dr. Avijit Burman sir, and this is all about today. Sir, please.
Uh, Dr. Orko, can I speak now? Dr. Orko?
Yes, sir. You may, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Very good of evening to each one of you who are attending this 123rd online CME organized by NIH Alumni Association. It is an immense pleasure and for me to be a part of this CME program. To be very frank and honest, to continue such continuous and continued CME for years together is not a matter of joke. And this is being done, I can still remember from the COVID period onwards, uninterruptedly by the NIH Alumni Association, which is really appreciable. I myself, from the core of my heart, as well as from the Department of Forensic Medicine and Toxicology, NIH, I myself and my dear brother, Assistant Professor Dr. Sanjib Sahoo, both of us congratulate you, all the members, each one of you who are behind this show, for this continued medical education which you are imparting to all alumni of National Institute of Homeopathy across the globe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this tireless and invaluable effort which you are going on since last few years. Now coming to today's topic, a beautiful topic, a very justified topic selected as the first rudimentary of Materia Medica, an insight through toxicology. It was a question when we were students of BHMS course, and even those who are the students now. Question comes: what is the use of studying? This question is asked very frequently, off and on. What is the use of studying toxicology? Yes, those who are very senior, quite aged, and those as NIH alumni who were uh, under the Calcutta University, who had studied under Calcutta University, not under West Bengal University of Health Sciences. They could remember the name of the subject was FSM, Forensic and State Medicine. In the name itself, there was no question. The word toxicology was not mentioned at that time, but it was taught. We used to study. We had studied, but later on, the name has been changed, and from FSM it has come to FMT. I'm not talking of homeopathic curriculum under CCH or at present NCH, but it is now in vogue. The term FMT, or forensic medicine and toxicology, is now in vogue all throughout the country, everywhere. May it be BHMS course, may it be MBBS course, or whatever it may be. So people across our country and the globe have felt the necessity of and importance to emphasize that chapter, the big chapter of toxicology, and they have justifiedly modified or changed the name from FSM to FMT. That simply signifies what is the importance, how immensely toxicology is important to each one of us who are practitioners, who are practitioners, who are rendering service to the ailing humanity. And being a homeopath, now coming to us, being a homeopath, we really, I don't know how much the allopathics feel, but we the homeopaths, we really feel the necessity of toxicological study during our day-to-day practice. It is always required that the knowledge of toxicology immensely helps us in studying Materia Medica. Yes, quite justifiably, Dr. Sanjib has today, he had taken a long journey. He has sailed us. He has gone through so many parts, starting from the history of Paracelsus, conception of Dr. Paracelsus. Then in homeopathy, Dr. Herring, Dr. Richard Hughes. He had started from there, and he had taken from that era to the present scenario, what we are doing at present. He had beautifully, in his slides in the PPT, on the one side he had shown the toxicological symptoms, what we read in our forensic and state or forensic medicine textbooks. What are the signs and symptoms which are seen in the poisoning cases? He had mostly covered up with the heavy metals, thallium to start with, lead, mercury, arsenic. He had covered all these, showing on the left hand side the toxicological symptoms, and on the right hand side he had tried to compare with the symptoms what we read in our Materia Medica textbooks. He had related, he had very justifiedly and beautifully compared and shown us the similarity and the significance, how a student in the second BHMS course, after studying toxicology, can easily grab these medicines, these drugs when they study during their Materia Medica syllabus. That immensely helps us. They can easily relate with this, which will remain in their minds for days together, for years together. Thereafter, he has described regarding nasvomica, hydrosanic acid, cannabis indica, all these. Though this was a very detailed deliberation, and due to time constraint, he could not go through some more drugs. And I would like to request the host, especially to my dear friend Dr. Bidyut Mukherjee and his able son Dr. Aku Mukherjee, and all others who are behind this continued CME program, to give one more opportunity to Dr. Sanjib Sahoo to explain few other drugs and to show the relationship of toxicological symptoms with the clinical symptoms or the signs and symptoms which are present in our Materia Medica. Students will be immensely helpful. They will be benefited. And after we plunge into our clinical practice, we sometimes forget about our subjects like anatomy, and then physiology, and especially forensic medicine may be ignored. But during our studentship, if we could study in depth regarding the toxicology, especially those poisons which are having, which homeopathic Materia Medica are having medicines, and we are using them during our clinical practice. If you can relate them, if you can corroborate these things, this will be of immense value. Thank you, Dr. Sanjeev, for a beautiful deliberation. You have also cited one case from the NIH OPD, how
Yes, sir.
misuse of sulfur with the help of our master Hahnemann's clear-cut instruction, you have justifiedly and beautifully managed the case of that psoriasis patient with few doses of Marxol 30. That was also immensely helpful. Definitely, those who are listeners, those who are viewing, those who are listening to your deliberation, that they will be also very much helpful. Finally, coming to the last portion, what you have mentioned regarding the pharmacological actions of the medicines. To relate with the Materia Medica, the knowledge of toxicology is always inevitable. So, the subject, the topic being a very vast one, within this short period of span of time, it is not possible for any speaker to cover entirely. But whatever you have done, Dr. Sanjeev, it is really praiseworthy. I'm extremely thankful that you have made justice to this topic. And the listeners, the viewers who have joined this meeting will definitely be helpful during their day to day life practice. Lastly, but not the least, I express my heartfelt gratitude to my and our most respected Dada, Dr. Devnarayan Kalyani, for being the pillar, the pivot of this alumni association, in spite of ignoring his physical incapabilities. He is still there. He is always there, encouraging all of us everywhere in every aspect. Thank you, Kollanida, for being with us. And may the Almighty bless you to recover very soon, very fast. May you lead a very healthy and happy, prosperous, and definitely much more longer practicing life. And finally, to conclude, what should I say regarding my dear friend, Dr. Bidyut? Having suffered such a huge, serious accident few days back, He was in a shock. He went in a shock. We were also always, all of us, we were terrified. We were scared. But due to his immense guts, mental strength, and the best wishes of all of us, our prayers and the blessings of the Almighty, he has come across with flying colors. He is back home and he is behind the show. Always, always. This show, he is behind in this show, but he is always leading from front the NIH Alumni Association. Thank you, all of you. And lastly, but not, I had forgotten to mention our new faculty, Dr. Laxmi Mahto. Laxmi, you are always there. Still now, I can see you. Thank you so much for joining, for inaugurating this CME. Hope you will be speaking in some future CME programs.
Yes.
Waiting to hear from you also. Thank you, all of you. Once again, good night for joining and paying patient hearing to this deliberation. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Professor Avijit Burman, my beloved friend. And I'll request Kalyani sir, our mentor and really the pivot of Alumni Association, to say a few words. Over to you, Kalyani sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Bidyut. Many, many thanks. Many, many thanks to the persons who are on screen and out of screens for attending this CME. Today's CME was a brilliant because speakers, inaugurator, moderator, all are the alumni makers. One is most senior, made many alumni, and two are alumni, but they have started making us alumnus. We are very lucky to get three of them in one platform. Today's inauguration by Madam Laxmi Mahto is fantastic, beautiful. And as Dr. Burman was telling, that we are waiting for your participation as a speaker, madam. As Sanjib presented, he presented for the first time, as he told, but it was brilliant. And we are expecting much more in near future. He was primarily was shaky, but his presented was as if having many experiences. Sanjib, many thanks to Sanjib.
Thank you,
He's
sir.
very brilliant and beloved to all of us. His study was really as a literal research. He started from the history, then toxicology, mingled with chemistry, biochemistry, and toxicology in Materia Medica. As if applied biochemistry, toxicology, and chemistry was being taught by a Materia Medica teacher in the Materia Medica class. Beautiful, Sanjib. This is wanted. What's great about Professor Dr. Sri Burman? Avijit Sri Burman, he is always one of the best friend of the alumni, all along, since beginning. Whenever he call him, never he refused. And always he is encouraging us. We are really inspired by him all along. And we will be getting his inspiration all through. Now regarding Sanjib's piece, I want to add few things. That as he presented toxicology in the form of Materia Medica teacher, this is wanted. I was fortunate, I will tell my experiences. I was fortunate to teach Materia Medica for about 23 years, 4 years in undergraduate college and 19 years in NIH. So I had one idea that Materia Medica should not be from Materia Medica only, or Materia Medica should not be only from the source, but Materia Medica should begin from much early stages, like ecology, sociology, then botany, biology, toxicology, then physiology, then anatomy, means all these subjects, in the sense preclinical subjects, plus sociology, ecology, should be in the form of applied mathematica. Means this knowledge of these things, sociology, knowledge of this ecology, knowledge of this toxicology as presented by Dr. Sanjib Sahoo, knowledge of physiology, knowledge of anatomy, knowledge of preventive social medicine, knowledge of forensic medicine, everything should come in mathematica as applied form. The result will be mathematica's drugs will be very short and very brilliant, very sharp. Because when we study, am I audible, Orko? Hello?
Yes, sir, you are audible, sir.
Okay. When we study mathematica, it becomes a lengthy. We have to read and memorize many symptoms of toxicology, ecology, sociology, etc. But very few, very uncommon symptoms, which are the guideline for selection of the drug. To find out the uncommon, peculiar guiding symptoms, these knowledges, when it will be applied in the mathematica will be more tasty, easy, and very much comprehensive. It will be very easy to understand with a very short time what drug is most suitable for the patient. That is why it is my experience that if during teaching of mathematica, like Dr. Sanjib Sahoo expressed, that all previous knowledge should be added as applied, then teach mathematica, it will be very, very palatable. My idea was confirmed that one day in OPD, we had one visiting professor, Professor S.C. there, Samaresh Chandra Dey, a brilliant medicine specialist. One day he's telling in the OPD that I start medicine from ecology, from the ground, not ecology. He's telling I start medicine from the soil. Then gradually it grows up to physiology, then anatomy, then medicine. So this starting medicine from the soil by Dr. Professor Dey is a great learning to all of us. Thus our mathematical learning should be from the soil, means from very, very beginning, from ecology, sociology, then toxicology, then botany, anatomy, physiology, etc. So this is a great attempt of Dr. Sanjib Sahoo, Professor Sanjib Sahoo, to give us forgotten histories. History is such a thing, it is well known to all of us, but we sometimes forget that it is only history which is the greatest stimulation, greatest stimulant for today, for development of, or to proceed towards the future. If we want to have glorious future, brilliant future, we must know the history to be encouraged presently at present. Then only will be inspired. The history we heard from Dr. Sahoo may be knowing to us, but usually forgets the devotion, the sacrifices, how many people they had to die to give us the help to collect the symptoms by which we are dealing the patients. So as I was telling before, that as we have seen in the history of toxicology, as it was shown by the Professor Sahoo, that many people, many brilliant stalwarts, scholars sacrifice their life for the symptoms only by toxicological effect. For this reason, we are rich in symptoms. We are able to cure the patient now. So we have one responsibility to contribute something what we are achieving for our own practice or hospital experiences. So wherever we are with the patients, please collect your experiences and share to the system, contribute to the system to make the system glorious, to make the system to proceed to the glorious future. That will increase your confidence, that will increase our confidence. So whoever getting cases or any other experiences or studying something new, please distribute to all of us for development of homeopathy as a whole. Anyway, as I was telling, that whatever we are presenting here, we can make an article to present before our e-journal for publication, and the alumni who are having clinical experiences, if not possible to make one article, simply send the cases by a brief clinical indication for publication. That will not only enrich our confidence, that will be asset for all of us in future as e-journal journal articles. So today's seminar is really beautiful for the reason that toxicology information, many things we got, many things we have learned new as a fresh or refreshed. And I appreciate Dr. Burman's, Professor Burman's advice. Definitely, we will call Dr. Sahoo again for rest of his experiences regarding toxicology. Thank you very much. Thank you all and good night. Bidyut, please.
Good night, sir. And we will be meeting again on September 14th for the 124th episode. And till then, let's all work together and think together to make this upcoming alumni meet and Golden Jubilee celebration on 12th of December a grand success. I'll return to our backstage editor and I'll request all to be there in the studio post the live session. Over to you, Orko.
Thank you all. Thanks for watching. I hope you have enjoyed today's CME. And if you have enjoyed today's CME, do make sure to give it a like, share it with your fellow mates, and don't forget to subscribe our YouTube channel and like our Facebook page. And also don't forget to follow our Instagram page. All the links are given in description below. You can join our WhatsApp channel also. There we give updates regarding anything about NIH Alumni Association, so you can join over there too, and the link is in the description also. And again, if you are watching from YouTube, just do subscribe, click on the red button, then after clicking that, click on all notification buttons so as to get update as soon as we schedule this CME or for future CMEs. So, and also who are watching from Facebook, them too, you can just like and join our YouTube channel. Also, you can join our WhatsApp channel to get updated as soon as possible. And also just come by whenever you visit. And so with this, thanks again. Thanks for watching. It's me, Orko Mukherjee, leaving for tonight, and see you in our next CME. Bye.
This channel does not promote or encourage any illegal activities. All contents provided by this channel is meant for educational purpose only.